In this video I will explain the heap for the new Any percent route with human in first cycle. So for the trick you need to load actors in a specific way, and this video will just go over that specifically. I will not go over specific setups or anything, so yeah, setups might still change, but the heap manipulation will most likely stay the same. So and it's important that you know how everything works so you don't mess things up. Alright, so to explain things better, I'm going to use Microsoft Paint to visualize some things. And yeah, first of all, let me explain what even the goal is. So we want to edit something in the overlay of the smoke that spawns when the balloon explodes. So that spawns a smoke actor, and we want to change something in the code, in the overlay. So first of all, what we do is we spawn some bushes in the right place in memory. So like that. Yeah, you just imagine those being the same size. Just a little bit hard to make this all even in Paint, but yeah, so 6 bushes. Then we load our SRM bubble. Now this, even after it popped when we catch the bomber kit, we still keep writing position and angle data, so keep that in mind. So we are still writing position and angle with SRM about here. Now, when we get in this corner, you have probably seen this setup, so you know the corner in the end when we catch the bomber kit. That's when we cull those bushes, and they unload. So they are regularly spawned and despawned depending on the camera. So those despawn. Then the SRM bubble expires, also despawns, but we keep still writing data. So I'm gonna let this line here. And then what happens is the smoke overlay spawns just about here. So this overlay is pretty damn huge. So I'm gonna visualize this with a really long line. But yeah, we still keep writing with SRM. So that is the overall goal. Now the next question will be, how are we going to arrange everything in memory? And yeah, some people have asked me, is this heap maybe possible on other days, not just day one? And is it maybe possible without the night transition? And yeah, unless I have overlooked something important, the answer to those questions is no, and I hope I can explain now why by visualizing the heap. Now I will first explain how the heap looks initially during day after we started the minigame. And yeah, I'm gonna simplify some things. So I'm gonna use black for actors that just stay the same during day and night. And that we otherwise don't really care about, just notice that they are there. So first of all, the heap starts with a group of those actors. So this is not just one actor, this is a simplified group of actors. Then comes the little gap, which I would describe as maybe medium size, and then some actors again that just will stay the same. Now you might ask yourself, why does this gap exist? Yeah, simple answer is when the scene loads, some actors are just initially loaded and then unloaded. I have not really looked into what this gap here is about or any other gap in this example, and it's also not really important. So just note that this gap is here and this is important. Now after some other actors, again there will be Tingle. So Tingle is his overlay and his instance. I'm just gonna visualize it like this maybe. And then Postman. Yeah, Postman would also be red, but to differentiate them, I'm gonna draw him orange. Now important is this, those actors combined with overlays and instances are bigger than this gap here. This is some important detail. Keep that in mind. Then come, let me check my notes. Yeah, then is some other actor again, and some new gap, and some other actor again. This is not really that important here. I think it looks about like this. But yeah, what we care about is this gap and Tingle and Postman. And then in the end of everything, the grass spawns. So maybe this size. I'm just gonna visualize it here as one group of actors. So these are actually 9 individual bushes. It's a little bit hard to draw them as individuals, but yeah, notice that those grass patches, bushes combined are still a little bit smaller than this gap. So this here could easily fit inside here, and then there even still is some small gap left. So what you don't want to do ever is, before it turns night, despawn this grass and respawn it, because then it would spawn here in this gap, and that will in the following make other actors spawn differently. We really don't want that to happen. Okay, wait, actually some minor correction. I think this was more like this, because here's a gap where the smoke overlay would spawn if you loaded it without further heap manipulation. So let's say we just spawn the smoke overlay during the day after we started the minigame, and yeah, it's about here, this size, and it fits in this gap. And notice that it's also small enough that yeah, it's smaller than Tingle and Postman together. However, it's too big to fit in this gap here, so we would just spawn this overlay here. And yeah, if we use Deku Bubble would just go in here, would not be any beneficial in any way. And also if we despawn this grass here, let me just draw this again. So the grass would then be about here, and then we could load Deku Bubble. Dude paint is difficult. Grass would be like this. Bubble would then be like this. And yeah, no benefits at all. We would just change stale data in the smoke loads here. So nothing really that this would be useful for. Alright, next question is what happens when it turns night? So I guess just gonna copy paste this so you have the comparison left. Yeah, so first of all, Tingle and Postman unload. And then new actors that load is Sakon. So Sakon's overlay is pretty huge. It will always load in the end, at the end of the heap. So this like this. And then his instance is not that big. Yeah, like this maybe. Bomb Shop Lady has also not a big overlay like this, and instance will also be not that big. So this fits all in here. Now there are some interesting things about this heap layout that we have now. So first of all, we have this gap here, which is big enough for our smoke overlay to load in here. So that's already good. And then this gap here is pretty small now. So if we despawn the grass now, yeah, let's despawn the grass. And yeah, I'm just gonna draw this with some X's. So there would now load 4 bushes in here, and then there's a tiny bit of rest memory, free memory left, but not enough for any other actor to load in there. So that doesn't really matter for us. So yeah, 4 bushes load in here, then 5 come here. So overall it's 9 bushes. And then comes the bubble. I think I had this color. So this is the bubble, and so yeah, we would write with SRM here. But yeah, if you remember what I said earlier, we wanted 6 bushes, and these are just 5, so this is not quite correct yet. So what we need is, we need to cut the sign actor. So the sign is not exactly the same size as the bushes, but almost. It's a tiny bit bigger, but yeah, what we just need is spawn the sign actor. So when you cut the sign, every slice of a sign is a new sign actor, or in a new instance. So we just need 1, and then only 3 bushes can load in here, which means 6 will go in here. Something like that. And then comes our bubble. And this is now at the right place. So yeah, this is where we would SRM. Now, when we get in the corner, all the stuff unloads, or the grass unloads. The sign actor despawns if you move too far away from it, and it also doesn't really matter if it despawns or not. Important is just that the sign was there when you load the grass again, so that 6 bushes go in here. This is just what's important. And also the sign actor is smaller than the bubble, so the bubble, when we charge it, could not go where the sign was before. So this gap that the sign actor would leave if we unloaded it again, that doesn't really matter, so you don't need to worry about that. So yeah, the grass despawned when we are in the corner, then we wait for the bubble to despawn, and then the smoke loads. And yeah, I guess this is visualized a little bit differently than before, but yeah, 6 grass bushes were there, then there was the bubble, and we just write with SRM to just exactly where we want. So with our angle, we will write to the last line of the destroy function. And yeah, now we do arbitrary code execution. All right, just to visualize things again. So I'm gonna play through this a little bit. So now it's about to turn night, and you want to have this grass on screen. Don't let this unload before it turns night. So what you can do to see if the grass is despawned or not in practice. So you can in KZ go to the debugger, go to actors, and then choose this actor type here, prop. Don't confuse this with prop 1, that's a different one. You want prop. And yeah, there should normally be 20 actors of this actor type. And yeah, you can quite easily see when this despawns. So now it's only 11, and then 20 again. So yeah, you can mess around a little bit with this to get a feeling what you can do or not do to spawn and despawn this grass. Now, one important thing you need to know about the camera is it also advances a little bit behind you. So you might think if you just look in the exact opposite direction, that's the best way to unload the grass, but that's not actually the case. The camera will look somewhat behind you as well. So what you need to do is look more sideways. Okay, now here this place does not work at all because I am too close. But yeah, in this corner here, if I face this way, this does not work. But if I face sideways, this works. Does not work, and this sideways, this way also works. So keep that in mind. Alright, yeah, so cutting the sign actor, the simple way is get here, unload the grass like this, and then yeah, you can do a little backflip, and then you can cut it safely. and it will spawn before the grass, and then you reload the grass and the grass will be just in the right place in memory. And yeah, you can always test if you got it right, if you charge a bubble, and then if you look at what Health Actor says, I will put that address for that watch in the description. If you get this address here, then you got it right. So yeah, 80424210. One little thing I almost forgot to mention is so when we do the setup, shooting a bubble at the bomber kit, then one at the balloon, and then we charge our SRM bubble, is the SRM bubble will still go right after those 6 bushes, because first of all we shoot the bubble towards the bomber kit, which also goes in this place here. Then we charge the bubble towards the balloon, which comes after. Then the bubble towards the kit unloads when it hits the kit. And then we charge our bubble for SRM, and then it will go in here. So just so that you don't get confused that our SRM bubble goes in here, even though we charge technically 3 bubbles. But yeah, the third bubble, which is for SRM, just goes where the first bubble was, because the first bubble was already unloaded. Now there are some things about the sign that I want to at least talk about. I don't know if I want to recommend doing it in different ways, but there are some other ways you can cut the sign. So if you never unload this grass here in the first place, and then you would cut the sign, then it would also go in the right place in memory. However, it's really tricky to get to the sign without ever unloading this grass. The camera, when you climb the fence, just tends to very easily cull this grass, and once it reloads, it will spawn here. So yeah, this would then be those 4 bush actors, and then 5 here, and then if you cut the sign would go here, and you don't want that. But if you somehow manage to get just the right camera, that this grass never cuts in the first place, then you can do this technically. I haven't really tried it myself much, but yeah, it's a little bit dumb. So I would recommend unloading the grass before cutting the sign to be safe. So just get at that one spot at the facing the wall, like I did in my original videos. That will unload the grass, and then you can cut the sign safely and it will go in the right place. Now there's a second shenanigan that I think is a little bit more viable. There's a way to cut the sign with a deco bubble, but it's not as simple as just shooting a deco bubble at the sign, because what then would happen is bubble loads, and then the sign would load, and that's not what you want. You want the sign just after grandma, and no deco bubble in between. So what you need to do, so unload the grass, then reload the grass, so this gap here is filled basically, and yeah, also here are the bushes. Important is just that the deco bubble, when you charge it, goes here. Then you face towards the sign, and that makes this grass here unload again. And now you can shoot your deco bubble at the sign, and then the sign will spawn just here. Like this. This is a sign. So this is what you can do, and there are more or less risky ways of doing that. Yeah. Okay, so this is about how this would look like. So you have the grass there, you need to despawn it once. Let me get this up. So yeah, it's despawned. And then spawn it again. Now charge the bubble. Look to the sign. And yeah, the grass was gone and the sign is now cut. And then you can spawn the grass again. And now my bubble should be correct again. Yeah. 80424210. Alright. Alright, here's just one last thing that I thought of, and there might be even more little variations of this. And it's almost not worth talking about it because it's pretty stupid, but it's technically a thing, so yeah, I want to cover this at least in this video. So I said you should not shoot the bubble at the sign without doing further heap manipulation. So let's say the grass does not fill this gap here, and you just charge a bubble, launch it towards the sign. So here's bubble, then comes the sign, and then you this bubble unloads, then grass spawns. Grass will be here, and 2 more after the sign, and then the 6 here. This is basically what we wanted before, but there's one little problem. If you unload the sign, if you don't unload the sign, if you don't walk too far away, then there is no problem. Then you could do this. But yeah, when you set up the bomber, you will most likely go too far away from the sign, unless you figure out some new way. But yeah, most likely you will unload the sign. Then there is one problem. The first bubble you charge will go here, because this gap is now big enough for the stack bubble. So to fix this problem yet again, what you can do is the first bubble you charge just goes somewhere. Doesn't matter, you just shoot it somewhere. But it's in here. So then you charge the second bubble. This goes in here where SRM bubble will be later. And you shoot this at the kit. You launch that one towards the kit. And yeah, this bubble here might be already gone or not. Does also not really matter. Either if this bubble is already gone, it probably will not be gone. Or maybe. So either the bubble you shoot at the balloon will go here or here. And then this bubble here expires. And then you start charging your SRM bubble. And then it will be here again. I hope this made any sense. If not, it's okay, because this is a really stupid stretch. And I just wanted to at least try to explain this. And yeah, to the people who understood it, you can maybe make use of this by figuring out some more possible setups.